Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. With Valentine's Day approaching, some people might be feeling lonely and out of place. You know what's wild? Right now, there are more ways to connect with people than at any other point in human history. We've got smartphones, social media, video calls, messaging apps. We're literally carrying the ability to reach billions of people in our pockets. And yet, loneliness rates are skyrocketing. We're more connected than ever, but somehow, we've never felt more alone. If you've ever scrolled through Instagram at 2 in the morning, watching everyone else's perfect lives while sitting in the dark by yourself, if you've ever been in a room full of people and still felt completely invisible, if you've ever wondered why, despite having hundreds of online friends, you can't think of a single person you could call right now with something that's really bothering you, then this video is for you. Today, we're diving deep into what I call the loneliness paradox of the digital age. We're going to explore why genuine human connection has become so rare, uncover the hidden signs that loneliness might be affecting you in ways you haven't even recognized, and most importantly, give you a practical roadmap to find your way back to authentic relationships, starting with the one you have with yourself. So let's get into it. Here's something most people don't realize, that is, the invisible epidemic. Loneliness isn't just about being physically alone. In fact, some of the loneliest people I know are surrounded by others all day long. They're in relationships. They have families. They show up to work, to parties, to social gatherings. From the outside, their lives look full. But inside, they feel completely disconnected. And this isn't just anecdotal. Research shows that loneliness has the same impact on your mortality risk as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases your risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, anxiety, and even dementia. The former Surgeon General of the United States called it a public health crisis. Think about that for a second. We're talking about an epidemic that's as dangerous as smoking, and yet we barely talk about it. Why? Because loneliness carries this shame with it. We live in a culture that glorifies independence, self-sufficiency, and not needing anyone. Admitting you're lonely feels like admitting you've failed somehow. Like you're not interesting enough, not likable enough, not worthy enough to have meaningful connections. But here's the truth. Loneliness doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care how successful you are, how attractive you are, or how many followers you have. It can touch anyone. And in our modern world, it's touching more of us than ever before. Before we go any further, let's talk about how loneliness actually shows up in your life. So here, I want to share the 8 hidden signs you're lonelier than you think. Because here's the thing, most of us are really good at hiding it. We hide it from others, sure, but we're even better at hiding it from ourselves. We rationalize. We make excuses. We stay busy enough that we don't have to face what's really going on underneath. So let's shine a light on some of those hidden signs. As I go through these, I want you to be really honest with yourself. Not judgmental, just honest. Sign number 1, social media doom scrolling. You pick up your phone to just check Instagram or TikTok, and suddenly an hour has vanished. You're not even enjoying it. You're just numb. You're watching other people live their lives while yours sits on pause. This is often a sign that you're seeking connection in a place that can't actually provide it. You're looking for that hit of dopamine, that sense of, I'm part of something. But all you're getting is a highlight reel of everyone else's best moments while you're sitting alone in your pajamas. Sign number 2, oversharing with strangers. Have you ever found yourself telling your entire life story to a barista, a Uber driver, or someone you just met at a party? There's this compulsion to connect, to be seen, to matter to someone. Even if it's someone who's essentially a stranger. This isn't about being friendly or open. It's about a deeper hunger to be known. And when we don't have safe, consistent relationships where we can share ourselves, we end up throwing our stories at whoever will listen. Sign number 3, retail therapy gone wild. Shopping, especially online shopping, becomes this numbing mechanism. You're filling your cart at midnight not because you need anything, but because the act of browsing, choosing, purchasing gives you something to do. It creates a momentary sense of excitement, of control, of self-care. But it's a band-aid on a bullet wound. The packages arrive, and the emptiness is still there. Sign number 4. You're always too busy. This is a sneaky one. We wear busyness like a badge of honor in our culture. But sometimes, staying frantically busy is a way of avoiding the quiet moments when loneliness would creep in. If you're scheduling every second of your day, saying yes to everything, never giving yourself a moment to just be. So ask yourself, what am I running from and why? Sign number 5. Physical exhaustion without physical cause. Loneliness is exhausting. Not just mentally, physically. You feel tired all the time, even when you've gotten enough sleep. Your body aches. You get sick more often. Why? Because chronic loneliness triggers a stress response in your body. Your nervous system is constantly on alert, which drains your energy and weakens your immune system. Sign number 6. You're cynical about connection. People are fake. Everyone's just out for themselves. Real friendship doesn't exist anymore. If these thoughts sound familiar, it might be a defense mechanism. When we've been hurt or disappointed in our attempts to connect, it's easier to become cynical than to stay vulnerable. But cynicism is just another wall we build to protect ourselves from the very thing we need most. Sign number 7. You can't remember the last meaningful conversation you had. Think about it right now. When was the last time you had a conversation that wasn't just surface-level small talk? When was the last time someone asked you how you were really doing and you told them the truth? When was the last time you felt fully seen and heard by another person? If you're struggling to remember, that's a sign. Sign number 8. You feel lonely. Even when you're with people. This is perhaps the most painful form of loneliness. You're at a dinner party, surrounded by laughter and conversation, and you feel like you're watching it all from behind a glass wall. You're physically present, but emotionally disconnected. You feel like an actor playing a part, going through the motions, but never quite breaking through to genuine connection. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, or especially if you recognized yourself in several of them, take a breath. You're not broken, you're not weird, you're human, and you're experiencing something that millions of other people are experiencing right now too. And the fact that you're watching this video means you're ready to do something about it. Next, I'm going to talk about the 4 levels of loneliness to give you some understanding of your experience. Don't click away yet, because I am sharing the remedies so you can make your life better and happier. Not all loneliness is created equal, and one of the most important things you can do is to understand what type of loneliness you're experiencing, because the solution looks different depending on where you are. Level 1. Situational loneliness. This is the most temporary form. You just moved to a new city. You started a new job. You went through a breakup. You're in a life transition, and your new social connections haven't caught up yet. This type of loneliness makes sense. There's a clear external reason for it. And the good news is, with time and effort, situational loneliness usually resolves as you build new connections in your new situation. The key here is to not let it become chronic. You need to be proactive about putting yourself in situations where connection can happen. Join clubs, take classes, show up to things even when you don't feel like it. Situational loneliness is like being in a new country where you don't speak the language yet. It's uncomfortable, but with consistent effort, you'll find your people. Level 2. Social loneliness. This is when you lack a broader social network, that sense of community and belonging. You might have a partner or a best friend, but you don't have a tribe. You don't have that group of people you can call for a game night, or who you see at regular gatherings, or who share your interests and passions. Social loneliness is about quantity, having enough connections that you feel part of something larger than yourself. Humans are tribal creatures. We need to feel like we belong to a group, like we're part of a community. Without it, life can feel isolating, even if you have 1 or 2 close relationships. Level 3. Emotional loneliness. This is deeper. This is when you lack intimate, emotionally close relationships. You might have plenty of acquaintances, plenty of people to grab coffee with or chat with at work, but you don't have anyone you can be truly vulnerable with. You don't have those relationships where you can show up as your full, messy, complicated self and be accepted. Emotional loneliness is about quality, about having at least a few relationships that go beyond the surface. It's the difference between having 100 friends you can party with and having one friend you can cry with. And for many people, this is the type of loneliness that hurts the most. Level 4. Chronic loneliness. This is when loneliness has become your default state. It's not situational anymore. It's how you experience the world. You feel fundamentally disconnected from others, like there's something wrong with you, like you're on the outside looking in at everyone else's lives. Chronic loneliness often comes with shame, depression, and a sense of hopelessness about ever truly connecting. This level of loneliness often requires more than just social effort. It might require therapy. It might require healing old wounds. It might require addressing trauma or attachment issues that make connection feel dangerous. There's no shame in this. If you're at this level, the bravest thing you can do is reach out for professional help. Now let's talk about why this is happening. Why now? Why is loneliness reaching epidemic levels in an era of unprecedented connectivity? I will start with the obvious one: technology. And I'm not here to demonize social media. It can be a tool for connection. But let's be real about what it often becomes: a substitute for real connection. We scroll through feeds, we like posts, we send quick messages, and we tell ourselves we're staying connected. But these interactions are shallow. They don't provide the deep nourishment that face-to-face, vulnerable, present connection provides. And here's the insidious part. These digital interactions give us just enough of a hit that we don't feel the full pain of our isolation. It's like eating junk food when you're hungry. It temporarily fills you up, but it doesn't actually nourish you. So you keep eating it, keep scrolling, keep posting, wondering why you still feel empty. Techno stress and the always-on culture. We're exhausted. We're constantly available, constantly responding, constantly on. The boundaries between work and life have dissolved. We're getting notifications at all hours. We're checking our phones over 100 times a day. And all of this leaves us depleted, too drained to make the effort that real connection requires. Because here's the thing: building meaningful relationships takes energy. It takes showing up. It takes being present. And when we're running on empty, we default to the path of least resistance, which is usually our screens. And now, let's talk about the AI paradox. We've entered this new era, and AI is taking over more and more of our communication. We've got AI writing our emails, our messages, even our dating profiles. Wow, maybe I should try that myself one day. Ha ha, just kidding. And while this might save us time, there's something deeply ironic and sad about outsourcing our human connection to algorithms. We're becoming more efficient at communication while becoming less human in our connections. Social media shows us everyone's best moments, their vacations, their achievements, their perfect relationships, their beautiful homes. And we compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. We feel like everyone else has figured out this whole life thing except us. Everyone else has friends, are having fun, and they have great relationships, and we're here, alone, scrolling through the evidence of our own inadequacy. This creates FOMO, fear of missing out, which is really just another flavor of loneliness. It's the feeling that life is happening somewhere else, for someone else, and you're not invited. We've become obsessed with curating ourselves. We want to show up perfectly, to have the perfect body, the perfect life, the perfect personality. And this perfectionism kills connection, because real connection requires vulnerability, mess, imperfection. It requires showing up as you actually are, not as you wish you were. But we've forgotten how to do that. We've spent so much time crafting our online personas that we've lost touch with who we actually are underneath. And if we don't know ourselves, how can we let anyone else know us? All right, so here we go. I am sharing the 5 proven remedies, your map back to connection. Now we've identified the problem. We've understood the different levels. We've named the modern forces making it worse. Now let's talk about solutions. real, practical, evidence-based strategies to help you find your way back to genuine human connection. Here we go. Remedy number 1. Practice strategic altruism. Here's something beautiful. One of the fastest ways out of loneliness is to focus on helping others. When you volunteer, when you show up for someone else, or when you do something good and make someone's day a little better, you get out of your own head. You remember that you matter. You create opportunities for connection that aren't forced or awkward because you're united by a common purpose. And here's the strategic part. Choose volunteer work or helping opportunities that align with your interests or values. If you love animals, volunteer at a shelter. If you care about education, tutor kids. If you're passionate about the environment, join a cleanup group. This way, you're not just helping. You're meeting people who share your values, which is fertile ground for friendship. Remedy number 2. Embrace messy connection. You need to let go of perfectionism. Stop waiting until you've got your life together to reach out to people. Stop waiting until you're in a better mood, until you've lost weight, until you've achieved something impressive. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with humanity. This means being willing to show up authentically. Share your struggles, not just your successes. Admit when you're having a hard time. Ask for help. Let people see you. I know this is scary. Vulnerability is terrifying, but it's also the only path to real intimacy. And here's a practical tip. Practice low-stakes vulnerability first. Share something small and real with someone safe. See how it feels. Notice that the world doesn't end. Notice that people often respond with their own vulnerability, and suddenly you're having a real conversation instead of trading pleasantries. Remedy number 3. Create consistent contact points. Loneliness thrives in isolation, and one of the best ways to combat it is through regular, predictable connection. This doesn't have to be intense or time-consuming. It can be a weekly phone call with a friend, a monthly book club, a Tuesday night pickup basketball game, a Sunday morning coffee at the same cafe. The power is in the consistency. When you know you're going to see certain people regularly, you build trust over time. You create a foundation. You don't have to start from scratch every time. And this consistency signals to your nervous system that you're not alone, that you're part of something ongoing. Remedy number 4. Diversify your connection portfolio. Remember those different levels of loneliness? You need different types of relationships to address different needs. You need acquaintances for a sense of social ease. You need friends for companionship and fun. You need intimate relationships for vulnerability and deep emotional support. And you need community for belonging and purpose. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If your only close relationship is with your romantic partner, and that relationship has problems, you're left with nowhere to turn. Build connections at different levels. Have your workout buddy, your work friends, your college friends, your neighborhood friends, your online community. Create a web of connection so that if one thread breaks, you're not left completely isolated. Remedy number 5. Become your own best friend. First, this is the foundation everything else is built on. You cannot have healthy connections with others if you don't have a healthy connection with yourself. I will say this again because this is important. You cannot have healthy connections with others if you don't have a healthy connection with yourself. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity or forcing yourself to love yourself when you don't feel it. I'm talking about developing genuine self-compassion. This means learning to talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a good friend. When you make a mistake, instead of calling yourself an idiot, you say, "That's okay, everyone messes up sometimes." When you're struggling, instead of telling yourself to toughen up, you say, "This is really hard, and it makes sense that you're having a hard time." It means getting to know yourself. What do you actually like? Not what you think you should like. What matters to you? What are your values? What brings you joy? You can't show up authentically in relationships if you don't know who you are. And it means learning to be alone without being lonely, developing the ability to enjoy your own company, to take yourself on dates, to sit with yourself without immediately reaching for a distraction. Ironically, when you become comfortable being alone, you become less desperate in your connections with others, which makes those connections healthier and more authentic and even attractive. Look, I'm not going to lie to you and say this is easy. Overcoming loneliness, especially if it's chronic, is hard work. It requires courage. It requires vulnerability. It requires showing up even when you don't feel like it, reaching out even when you're scared of rejection, being honest even when it's uncomfortable. But here's what I want you to know. You are not alone in feeling alone. Right now, at this very moment, there are millions of people feeling exactly what you're feeling. People who are scrolling through their phones in the dark, wondering why they can't connect. People who are surrounded by others but feel invisible. People who are aching for someone to really see them. And every single one of those people is a potential connection. Every single one of them would probably love to have a real conversation, a genuine friendship, a true sense of belonging, just like you would. The loneliness epidemic exists because we're all waiting. We're waiting for someone else to make the first move. We're waiting until we feel more confident, more worthy, more ready. We're waiting for connection to find us instead of going out and creating it. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting. Take one small step today. Text someone you haven't talked to in a while. Join one group. Volunteer for one cause. Share one real thing about yourself with someone. Go to one event even though you'd rather stay home. Because connection isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create. It's a skill you can learn, a muscle you can build. And yes, it will be awkward at first. You'll stumble. You'll have conversations that don't go anywhere. You'll reach out and not always get the response you hoped for. But you'll also surprise yourself. You'll have a conversation that actually fills you up. You'll meet someone who gets you. You'll feel that spark of real connection, and you'll remember what you've been missing. And slowly, step by step, relationship by relationship, you'll build a life that feels less like you're on the outside looking in and more like you're right where you belong. You deserve that. You deserve to feel seen, known, appreciated, connected. Not because of what you achieve or how you look or what you can offer, but simply because you're human, and connection is a fundamental human need. So go out there and claim it. Your people are waiting for you. They just don't know it yet. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Because sometimes the best way to start connecting is to let someone know they're not alone. And if you want more content about building meaningful relationships, understanding yourself, and navigating the complexity of being human in the modern world, subscribe to this channel. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.